ABCD mark.
Thank you.
All right, we got our...
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Hello, fellas.
Hello.
Howdy.
So nice to meet you. I have just gotten out of my home TV viewing experience of Nimrods, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And going into it, my initial thought was like, okay, who is this going to be for? Not even a quarter way through, I was like, there is something for everybody in this. Whether you're a long-term Green Day fan, a music lover, someone who wants to pick up an instrument, someone who's just picked up an instrument, like people are going to find something in here that they really enjoyed. And you've also been very visual, always. I don't know if that was purposeful between the album covers and the imagery of the band itself. Was that intentional from the get-go? Green Day is going to be this visual band, we're going to be multimedia, or is that just something that kind of came with the journey?
I think it came with the journey. I think like the one thing that might be missing from a lot of bands now is like, you know, sometimes instead of like when people or fans or whatever, instead of calling us Green Day, they call us Billy, Mike, and Trey. You know, so like they went to talk about someone on like, you know, like they're being on a first name basis with your fans is like, that's like the ultimate. And that might be one thing that's missing a little bit now. But, so I think just like, so, you know, as far as just us being the characters that we are in our own personal personalities, I think just kind of came out through the years, and we've always been into like radical album covers and like, you know, I've always loved like movies like, you know, Rock and Roll High School, Ferris Bueller, you know, and with great, you know, great soundtracks to them, and so I think that was sort of the influence. A lot of it, you know, maybe a little bit of John Hughes in there. And,
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And you know, you worked on this with Lee Kirk, who wrote and directed it. And correct me if I'm wrong, but he like sat you down and interviewed you about kind of your story, your journey, so he could kind of pull parts of your life into this. Did that process kind of feel, was it reflective or was it like a therapy session?
He already knew a lot. Like his son, Weston, was a really big fan. I'd worked with Lee in the past. And so I think his son was like, he's an incredible musician. And, you know, he really was like a fan where, you know, when you know about certain things that have happened to a band in their career and things like that. So I think that was, you know, a lot of it, the stories he already knew, and he just put it to paper in a lot of ways. So I don't think, I mean, do we really do it?
Yeah, we talked to him a few times. Like he'd say, "Oh, call me if you have any stories that come up." And I'm like, "Okay." And like we had an initial conversation. I told him like some stuff, and then I would just like text him, "Oh, there's this one time." He's like, "All right, got it." You know, it's like, but that not like it wasn't like an official. Like let's
Sit
write
down
stuff.
and, like,
No,
It
it
was
was.
more of a long conversation over the course of, you know, a couple years, you know.
I did feel like he did know most of the stuff I told him.
Yeah? Really? Is that surprising sometimes that like there are people out there that might remember your history maybe even more than you guys do?
I hope so. My memory's not that great, man.
I think it's great. I think in this movie, in Nimrods, it's going to be like, there's a lot of Easter eggs in there for our fans that know the deeper history. And if not, it works on a level of just watching it without a deeper level of knowledge of the band, you know. So,
did revisiting these stories and things change kind of your perspective on your career? Like, are you naturally reflective? And when you do reflect, are you like, oh man, like, it's kind of crazy that all of that happened?
Yeah, I'm reflective.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I have, I love the old days being in the band and stuff like that. One of my favorite tours we ever did was Kerplunk. And I loved, like, we would, you know, be, at the end of our sets, we would go, has anybody got a floor or a couch we could sleep on? And so, you know, there was times when times were rough and like people would be really open and like helpful and wonderful to like making sure that we're like past the hat and like people put money and we get $10 and that was like a half a tank of gas back then, you know, and it's So yeah, then we met some like incredible people. You know, it's like I met my wife on my first tour, and Jason White is another guitar player for us, and became one of my best friends. And so yeah, it's like I really cherish those days.
Do you feel like that lifestyle, that rock and roll lifestyle exists anymore? Like I feel like some of the magic of it's gone. So to see it in this way in this film was nice to see. Like people really drove across the country in a dingy van. They had all of their instruments. It was just them. Now it's like, oh, I'll post a TikTok and cross my fingers that something works. Do you feel like some of that magic is gone, or is it still somewhere there?
I think people still crave like real, you know, like that's what, you know, like the Analog Dogs, for example. They wanted to do things on tape. They wanted to keep it real, like do it old school, you know. And I think there's like, you know, the resurgence in people wanting tape players and vinyl, like, you know, a lot of people still want their music on vinyl. But you know, it's like beyond being nostalgic, it's just a cool way to experience music.
Oh, there's something special about holding something and flicking through it and looking at the physical artwork. You don't get to see all of it when you're looking at a little thing on a screen.
And it's more fun to make a record than to make a TikTok, kids. Sorry.
Yes, let them know. Absolutely. You know, going back to you guys sharing stories and dabbling little bits of them into the film, when you've been together for this long, do you ever catch yourself kind of either finishing each other's stories or disagreeing on how things actually went, if that makes sense? Like, do memories kind of get blurred?
I think like it's not. We'll be talking about something, and then it would be like, oh no, it happened this way, and you go, oh yeah, you know, things like that. I mean, we were just looking at a flyer, and like that's up on the wall, and I remember, and Mike was like, it's like this weird flyer where all it is directions to get to someone's house, and it's and I was like looking at it, I was like, oh, that's Bremerton on our very first tour in Bremerton, Washington. And because there was one in a band called 2 Foot Small that we played with them. And I remember that show being, we only got to play 2 songs. The cops came and ruined it for everyone. But we played kind of quiet. And then as we were leaving, Nazi skinheads showed up. So we were, yeah. So it was, you know, it was an experience.
Yeah.
But but it's a memory nonetheless. You know.
Yes, yes. That one didn't make it to the film. You know, hearing these songs throughout this film, and it's wide spanning, like the catalog that is in this film, it reminded me how closely people affiliate your music to memories, right? I have very vivid memories when I was younger listening to certain songs of yours, and I can put myself in a place at a time, listening to that song, being with this person, whatever it may be. Numerous of your tracks. Is that weird? Like, what's your relationship to that? How do you kind of grasp the fact that your songs have been lived memories for people?
That's how I roll, you know. I'm the same. If that's weird, then I'm the biggest weirdo on the planet, you know. So
I always feel the same. Like somebody will say, "Oh, I grew up listening to your music." I said, "Well, we did too. We just never got the first listen of the record." You know, we were on the other side of it, but it's our life too. You know, we're all living our lives at the same time. So in a weird way, it is, you know, we are intertwined in that way.
It's only weird when you take mushrooms and think about it.
Yes, that would be a very strange time to reflect on that element of it. When you listen to the stuff, do you hear who you were then, or do you just hear the band as a collective?
Both. I mean, because like I'll remember when we rehearsed a song to, you know, like something I was like started from scratch, and then like I remember the first time we ever played it, like a song like Longview. The first time we ever played it was in Longview, Washington, and a guy that was on tour with us, Cause, he goes, you should call that song Longview, and I was like, oh, okay, it's called Longview now.
And I mean, to wrap, you somehow managed to get some of the hottest young talent in Hollywood right now in this film, and it's crazy because this film was in the works for a while. Was that just a stroke of luck? Did you see something that the world hadn't yet, like?
Total stroke of luck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Total stroke of genius.
Yes, exactly. It was all you. It was
Yeah.
all you.
Yeah, I remember McKenna. I saw her in Ghostbusters, and she had this like really curly hair, and I remember thinking about like when I saw her, I was like, she would be cool, and I didn't know who she was, and then I think it was like Lee or somebody goes, I cast this girl to be in, and what do you think? And I was like, oh, she's from Ghostbusters. I remember that.
way.
Yeah, yeah. So and then yeah, we just just try to like cast it with like the people that we thought had the authenticity to pull it off, and we just lucked out. It was like, and then how bonded the cast became after that was like really, it was like that was really special.
Yeah, you could tell how much they wanted to be in the movie, and then they just created their own world on set. You come in, they'd be like, Kyle would be skateboarding by, and they're all, oh, hey, what's up? Snap his board up, grab it.
Yeah.
What's going on? And you're like, this
And
is amazing. Like, you guys are all vibing here big time,
And actually making like good music too. Like the soundtrack is really good.
The soundtrack is pretty damn good.
It's an impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Soundtrack.
And I say wide spanning. Hopefully this lives beyond and people are introduced to the music time and time again. But fellas, thank you. I really enjoyed this film. So
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Cheers.
lot.
Thank you,
All right.
everybody.